Now we can focus on Gorr the God Butcher, right? He is a monster in the comics. I don't think you guys are prepared. He is the God Butcher. He kills gods. So that's the first question. Who's he killing? It better not be friggin' Hemsworth. It might be. It might be like, oh, he kills Jane. He kills like a Thor, and that like her whole arc is done in one movie because he kills her. That could be kind of cool. We did see Greek gods over there. We saw Zeus and all them people. Maybe he kills a bunch of them. Do you have any any theories on who he's killing?
Yeah, I think Olympus will fall. I think Olympus is done. I think it's going to be a Kratos situation where they turn around and he's just standing there. I have no qualms about that, which I think is going to be a great scene because it seems like the Greek gods are actually bigger than the nether gods, right? They're like 10, 11 feet tall. So that's going to be cool. I think they're going to be done fairly quickly. As for everyone else, I think there's a chance certain Celestials are going to go down because ones that are kind of unknown, right? Not crazy important Celestials, but who? Ones I don't know, ones that are kind of extricated, maybe ones we've seen in Eternals. Maybe that connects to Eternals.
Just random those Celestial Armor 2 people he's just going to be killing?
Exactly. He wants to kill all gods. For those of you who don't know, his story in the comics is basically he prayed to the gods. His family was sick. They died. Yeah. And he just, in rage, went after every god. And as he killed gods, one after one, he got more powerful. He uses this weapon called Necro Black Sword, Black the Necro Sword, whatever way you want to say it.
We got to talk about that.
But that sword, Rob, I mean, that connects to so many things in Marvel. It connects to the symbiotes. It connects to Null. We just had the rock star himself, Donny Cates, do this epic Venom arc in the comics where Null is brought into the fruition and the Necro Sword and kind of this celestial god of the symbiotes is there. What do you think about that?
First of all, the whole idea of the god of the symbiotes, Null, is, I love it. Donny Cates' run is fantastic. If you haven't read it, go read it, go check it out. But to know that weapon is the god of the symbiotes. I mean, maybe he killed him, and that's how he got the weapon in the MCU. I don't know if they're going to touch upon Null at all, because it's a huge can of worms, and it's oh, what about Venom, the Sony thing? It's too many different things. I don't think they're going to touch upon that, at least now. I think maybe down the line, and then once they figure out what they're gonna do, they're oh, do you remember the Necro Sword? Yeah, Thor. He's oh yeah, Gorr the God Butcher killed it, and now they're gonna have to face the guy who made it. That could be setting up for connections down the line. I think that's cool. I think the only thing we need to know right now for this movie is that this weapon is super strong. It's gonna be very efficient at killing any guy that he points it to. But I guess the more important question on how he's going to kill gods and what he's going to do in this movie and stuff like that. It's the MCU plague, and they don't know what to do with their villains. Yeah. Is he a one-and-done villain, Chris? Or is he somebody that's going to be around for a long time? Because in the comics, he's around for a little bit. You know, he dies, he comes back, and all that kind of fun stuff. But what do you think the MCU is going to do with him? I
really hope he's not a one-and-done villain, Rob, because he's a character I know you and I both love from the comics. Christian Bale is playing him. They're already paying the guy. So I don't see how he could be a one-and-done villain where it's just, oh, we fought him and defeated him, that's it. This character leans into so many things that the MCU as a whole right now is discussing and teasing and moving forward in their next phases, right? Celestials, massive gods, cosmic entities. Gorr the God Butcher himself is a plague. He is a horrible storm that never relents. It never lets up. And Thor himself wasn't enough to beat him, even in the comics. So that's why we see, in this trailer, you see Valkyrie up there. You see, Jane's there. All of them are there. It's going to take a lot of people to take this guy down. Hopefully, I don't want them to kill him. I hope it's a depowered situation. Maybe they break the Necro Sword.
I think that's probably the most likely answer.
And maybe he starts back from the beginning, crawling. Maybe that's the tease of Null, or that's the tease of the symbiotes and stuff like that, where we get this, Gorr is barely alive, crawling, in whatever the pieces of the sword are left. And Null finally answers the call, his final prayer to the gods, but Null answers, not the good ones, which would be so badass.